All right, Broncos country. So a very disappointing end to a fantastic season. I'm delivering this video one day later because I wanted to sleep on everything and come back with my opinion the following day. So here we are. Let's talk about the Denver Broncos after falling short in the AFC Championship game, 7-10. Right? Of course, with this video coming out means the Broncos season is over and the offseason content is going to start happening, which the offseason content is some of my most fun videos to make. But, of course, I wish that was happening a couple weeks from now. But let's go ahead. Let's recap this AFC Championship game for the Denver Broncos and just, talk us through it because I think we had a chance, obviously, to win this game. And we'll talk about everything that went into it, right? But first, on my ride home back from the game last night on the radio, I was hearing a bunch of negativity about the Broncos, right? People can feel however they want. If you feel negative about the future, you can. If you want to be pessimistic, you can. I'm going to try and keep it neutral, right? I am optimistic for the future, but we'll talk about what happened in today's game. Starting with quarterback Jarrett Stidham, right? Went 17 for 13 for 133 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick, and a 63 rating, right? So, starting off, Jarrett Stidham missed a few easy passes, right? One on a screen to Marvin Mims and some passes that he should have hit, but was getting settled into the game, right? Then on, I believe it was the second drive of the game, misses on the screen pass, as I just mentioned, to Marvin Mims, but then hits him on a deep pass for 52 yards to set up us inside the 10, and then eventually hits Cortland Sutton for the touchdown, and it's a very strong start. The next drive, I believe it was flipping into the second quarter, and we're driving down the field. I believe we get to the 19-yard line, and it's a 4th and 1, and Sean Payton decides to go for it. Now, you can say what you want about maybe kicking the field goal and taking the points there, as that has kind of been the theme throughout the playoffs, teams not taking the points. It's been coming back to bite them later in the game, and obviously that's what happened to the Broncos in this game, but I honestly didn't mind the thought of going for it, right? You have the momentum in your favor, right? The defense is playing out of their minds, right? It's going to be a close game. It's going to be a hard-fought game, and points are going to be hard to come by, so you could argue that for kicking the field goal. But in my opinion, with the momentum, I didn't mind going for it. However, I hated the play call that Sean called, right? It was kind of this boot with Stidham and then Harvey leaking out of the backfield, and you wanted to hit him for a quick pass for the first down. I wish Sean Payton would just do the tush push. We'll see what happens if he gets banned this offseason or whatnot. But I just wish he would do that quarterback sneak to pick up that yard, right? Or just, I know we were having a hard time running it with Harvey up the middle, but put in McLaughlin there. Just do the quarterback sneak, get us that extra yard, right? I wish he would have done that. Hated the play call, so if that was a play call, wish we would have kicked the field goal, but I didn't mind going for it. I just wish, obviously, another play was called. And then, of course, Stidham later in the half, wish he would have just taken the sack, right? Doesn't take the sack, has that backwards pass, which leads to the Patriots getting the ball inside their red zone, and that ended up scoring them their touchdown in the second quarter because up to that point, the Patriots struggled to move the ball down the field at all. The defense was playing lights out. The defense was playing dominant. And then it goes into half 7-7, right? Each team both missed a kick. So that does suck, right? Lutz missing 2 field goal attempts. And we'll talk about him, but in that type of weather, right, with how cold it is, it's not easy to kick a football. So the weather did play a factor in that, but we'll talk about that here in a little bit. It goes into half 7-7. The Patriots end up kicking a field goal, which ended up being the game winner, right, as the Broncos missed 2 field goals. And at halftime, right, I was at the game. At halftime, that's when the snow just started to come down. And in that type of weather, it's going to be hard to throw the football and move the football in general. So you're going to need a good rushing attack on the ground. And unfortunately, we just didn't have that rushing attack, right? We held the Patriots rushing attack in check, right, for the most part, right? Drake May, obviously Ramondre Stevenson having 71 yards, 65 by Drake May, and only 5 by Travion, albeit on limited carries. But I felt like we held their offense in check for the most part, right? It was just a back and forth punt battle, and you're hoping on the shake by the Patriots punter that you could capitalize on points. But again, Will Lutz missed it. And we'll talk about Will Lutz, right? Went 0 for 2 on his field goals. The first one, yeah, I think he probably should have made it. But again, the weather does come into factor there. And then on the second one, I believe it was actually a tip by the Patriots, which caused it to go wide. And so great play by them. But Will Lutz going 0 for 2 does really suck to see, right? So there's that. But the defense, they played phenomenal, right? 5 sacks on the game. They got to Drake May a lot. And, Drake May didn't have a great day. 10 for 21 for 86 yards passing and 58.8 rating. Not great. So you were hoping with that you would be able to steal a win, and honestly could have. But again, it sucks with your starting quarterback being out, and a lot of Broncos fans saying if Bo Nix played, we would have won. And while I still feel and share that sentiment that I agree with that, he didn't, right? Bo Nix didn't play. You have to play the hand that you're dealt. Jarrett Stidham's the starting quarterback, and so played well in the first half, and then in the second half, or I'd say honestly played well in the first quarter, and then not so great in the second quarter, right? That backwards pass was costly. Should have just taken the sack there. And then also really the lack of a running game also struggled, right? RJ Harvey is a mixed box. Some plays he's going to have a good run. Some plays he's not going to be the greatest runner. He's a solid receiving back, but as a runner, averaging 2.8 a carry, it's not going to get it done in the AFC Championship. And if we did win the Super Bowl, right? Stidham had the highest average and was the second highest leading rusher with 23 yards. McLaughlin, I thought, played pretty well, right? Obviously, the 2.8 isn't great, but he also had significantly less carries than Harvey. Beatty had a carry, then Prentice had one, and then, of course, Pat Bryant had the end around for one of them. Marvin Mims, of course, was the leading receiver with that big bomb in the first quarter to lead to our only point and to the touchdown. Harvey, right, 22 yards through the air. Like him as a receiving back, and then you can see all the other receivers, right? Evan Ingram got more involved with 2 receptions. Sutton had 3 receptions and the touchdown. And then Lil Jordan Humphrey, Elijah Moore, Pat Bryant, and McLaughlin each got a reception as well. This was the thing that really killed us, as I mentioned previously, Jarrett Stidham and the backwards pass, which is ruled obviously a fumble, which led to the Patriots' touchdown and eventual win. And then the defense, they played fantastic, right, in terms of getting to Drake May with 5 sacks. But we lost the turnover battle. Didn't record any interceptions or fumbles. And the Patriots, they got obviously an interception by Christian Gonzalez, which you can say what you want. It was at the end of the game. Jarrett Stidham was throwing it out, hoping to have Marvin Mims make a play, and kind of just desperation time. It is still an interception, but it was at the end of the game, and it's essentially just going for broke at that point. And then, of course, they had the fumble recovery on the backwards pass by Stidham. So when you lose a turnover battle, it's going to be hard to win games, right? And it's disappointing, right? You have the 5 takeaways against Buffalo the prior week, and then you're unable to get one here in these weather conditions, right? In the snow, where obviously it's going to be harder to pass, right? So there's not going to be as many passing attempts. You're going to need to get a fumble recovery, most likely, for a turnover. But at the end of the day, you didn't. And, the Broncos season comes to an end. So, yeah, there's that. Unfortunate season. Just kind of wanted to give my thoughts and want to hear your thoughts on this season in the comment section below. The off-season content is going to be coming out soon. I have 2 videos planned. We might upload another one today for a little double upload action, or I might just space them out throughout the week. Still haven't decided on that. But if you did enjoy, make sure you leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you all so much for watching this video. My name is Parker, and I'll see you in a future video. Peace out.